Battlegrounds, the most polarizing game mode in the entire game, for an infinite amount of reasons, but in this specific video, I'm going to be doing something very different, and I am just going to talk for however long this video goes, 15, 20 minutes probably, but I'm going to talk about my feelings on BGs in the past 3 months-ish, and why I'm starting to just not care anymore. For a number of reasons, which we're all going to get into, obviously. This is going to largely be a pros and cons video, but I'm still going to get into a bunch of information on future BGs content and rank ups for myself, and how they're going to be shifting a little bit. But yeah, there are going to be time codes in this video if you want to see something specific, but I'm just going to start with disclaimers. I'm going to have BG's gameplay playing in the background. I just picked random fights that I had on my photos, so nothing specific about them. They're just kind of there for you to watch. But what's really important for me to mention is that everything I'm about to say is coming from someone whose account is playing in Tier 1 Alliance War, who has been Valiant for 6 months, and who consistently places in Quantum Tier almost every season, usually never higher or lower. It's just somewhere in Quantum 3 through 1. So yeah. And then the second disclaimer is, if some of these points I'm going to throw out are going to come across as whiny, I'm sorry, I'm just stating my feelings on this game mode. If you think they're whiny, I guess I understand, but just so you know, I'm telling you right now that it might sound that way sometimes. But I'll try to make sure it doesn't. That Discord ping is me, by the way, not you. Anyway, I'm going to start with the pros and cons lists on Battlegrounds as just an overall game mode, and then we're going to go from there. So, the first pro I have is, it is the ultimate strategic game mode in this game. There are other game modes where strategy is heavily involved, such as like, okay, you need to plan your Crucible path very strategically, or you need to plan your Necro path extremely strategically. Same thing with like planning an Alliance War. But this game mode, it requires a lot of critical thinking on the spot, and it's just really interesting how much thinking and knowledge you have to put into being a high tier player. It's not about roster or skills all the time, while those are very highly regarded in top tier Battlegrounds. Thinking on the spot with strategy, when to throw around or when to play it out, these are very important things for this game mode, and it's one of the things I like about it the most, is just how much it requires critical thinking. The second pro about Battlegrounds is that overall, it's pretty fun. Like, ever since the game mode has came out, like, it's the mode that I'm gonna play when I just want to do something in MCoC, and I just need something to pass the time. I'll just queue into a quick Battlegrounds game or a quick friendly, and most of the time, I'm just like, here, I'm just gonna do this for fun and see what happens. Once I like reach the Gladiator circuit, I start feeling a lot more stressed about how often I just queue into a game off of the spur of the moment, but overall it's very fun. And again, there are a lot of reasons where the fun might be drowned out and like decrease while you're playing it, but still, I do think it's a very well-designed game mode from a fun experience. So, and then the third pro, which I'm gonna be honest, I could only think of like 3 pros, which is why this video exists. Obviously, there'd be a lot of cons for me to be making this. The third pro is a little bit selfish and maybe is relevant to me specifically, but it gets a lot of views. Like, not only do people care about BG's gameplay more than any other game mode on the platform of YouTube usually, but they're also just easy videos to make. I can just put one BG's fight out there and people are going to watch it, or I can make a BG's compilation and people are going to watch it. Like, it's just the most consistent game mode to upload and expect views for. that's not the case with game modes like Alliance War or Summer of Suffering, as much as I wish they were, because I've openly stated that War is my favorite game mode to play and to make content on, and it just does not get a lot of views often. So I wish there was sometimes not that case, but at the same time, it's a good thing for me as a creator that BGs is very popular with people. So those are my 3 pros, but now we're going to get into the cons of why this video exists. And here's where the whining is probably going to start. So, okay, I'm going to start with a popular con, one that I feel like most of you would all agree with, and that's that the rewards kinda suck. Less so this season because it's the anniversary season. We have this awesome Realm event. Yeah, we have an awesome Realm event. We have a lot more Elder's Marks to replace higher scores in Alliance events. And are there solo events anymore this season? I know that got like replaced with a Realm event, but are there rank rewards in the Realm event? I don't even know. I think there are, but either way, it's pretty rewarding this season, but you cannot say that about most of the other seasons that have happened recently, because the circuit rewards are terrible, like, genuinely awful, because of the fact that you get so many Elder's Marks when you're in the top tier, but, like, what are you going to do with the Elder's Marks? Like, I am at, like, one of the first times in my account's history I have reached the maximum cap of trophy tokens, because, like, what do I spend them on? Nothing in the store is good. The 7-star shards are overpriced. The tier 6 basic and tier 3 alpha are overpriced. T6 CC is priced well, but the cap is too low in my opinion. Like, the BG store just, I don't know. I know Trappy's been talking about this too, like, he's been a YouTuber who places very high in Battlegrounds, and then one of his biggest points on why this game mode just doesn't feel worth it sometimes is the store is just awful. Like, it doesn't make sense why these rewards are so bad. And I can understand why that might not feel as much when you're playing a bit more of lower tier Battlegrounds, but I mean, I feel like it's just the top end needs to be rewarded more. And I don't even mean the top end meaning like Quantum where I play. So I feel like Celestial players should just get so much more rewards for what they are putting into this game mode. They are truly the best players in the game, and they almost get nothing out of it. So, I don't know. I just feel like the reward system is not flawed, but it's just lacking improvement to an absurd degree. It's been lacking improvement for like 6 seasons now, and I just don't see any intentions from Kabam to make it better when, what, this is your anniversary season and you're still not going to fix the store? So I don't even know anymore with the whole state of the BG store. It just doesn't make any sense to me, not only coming from a Quantum perspective, but from a Celestial perspective, which I don't have, but I feel like everyone in Celestial should be getting rewarded so much more than what they are now. And also, we don't even have T4 Alpha in Battlegrounds, which is just ridiculous. I don't get it, man. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to talk about for the cons of Battlegrounds is something a bit more recent, but that I feel like is meta shifting, or the lack of meta shifting, I should say. Because previously, there used to be 2 metas every Gladiator circuit, and the metas would shift every 2 weeks. Now there's only 1, and I strongly dislike that change. I think they should have kept 2, because the meta just feels stale. You're playing the same nodes over and over again, and it's just you draft the same champions over and over again. Like, it just doesn't shift. And this is gonna, like, contradict one of my points coming later, but trust me, it will make sense. I think the meta's lack of shifting is overall a downside. I understand why you might think it's a good thing, and I don't necessarily say you're wrong. I just don't like it myself, and I feel like 2 metas was perfect, and I wish they didn't get rid of that. 4 was too much, 2 was perfect, 1 is too little. So I'm just gonna breeze past that one. I explained basically everything I wanted to say about it, but next, I'm going to go into the big one, and the big one that kind of made me make this video, and that is roster management. This can mean multiple different things. In my case, it is rank ups, because every meta is gonna require, or maybe not require, but suggest different rank ups. And this is where it's gonna maybe contradict my meta shifting point, but I feel like it's just you need to have these characters for this meta to succeed. And if you don't have these characters for this meta, then you can't succeed. Take Crit Me with your best shot, for example. You want to have a MCoC, you want to have a Scarlet Witch, you want to have an Onslaught at the highest rank possible, you want to have Man-Thing ranked, you want to have Ebony Maw ranked, you want to have Kitty Pryde ranked, you want to have Havoc ranked, you want to have Maestro ranked. All of these are just options that are just going to completely cheese the system and are basically auto-drafts this meta. Like, all of those that I mentioned are almost always auto-drafts. So if you don't have these, you are at a significant disadvantage, or just don't have them ranked. You're at a significant disadvantage because these are the champions that are going to make you win games this meta. And a lot of them are kind of off meta. Scarlet Witch, off meta. MCoC, I wouldn't say off meta, but recently he's kind of fallen off. Havoc, I'd say is off meta. I don't know. I just dislike how metas work sometimes, where it's like, okay, you need to have these specific characters. Otherwise, you're just not going to be able to progress. And the reason I think this is an issue is because of what I'm going to go into next, which is my resources are limited. Like, I don't know if everyone else can feel that way, but my resources are limited, not because of monetary value. Like, it's not because I'm not spending money on the game. I know a lot of people think, okay, BGs kind of sucks because it's pay to win. I don't necessarily agree with that for the most part. I think in some ways it is pay to win, but not for what I'm going to bring up here. My rank ups need to go to places that are not BGs sometimes, like Alliance War. My next rank 3 is going to be a champion who's going to go on war defense and who is going to be almost useless in BGs. That being said, I just used all my rank 3 resources on a champion I can't use in BGs, and that's just setting me so far back to someone who can grind BGs all the time and not have to worry about war rank ups. And it's not even just war defense. Like, I rank 3'd Morbius for Alliance War. It turns out oftentimes Morbius is good for Battlegrounds, so maybe he's not the best example. Emma Frost, that's a good example. That was a war rank up. I took her to rank 3 for Alliance War, and she's not a good BG's attacker. She is really, really good for Bullseye, but that's like the only matchup I draft her for. So, like, it can be whiny where I'm like, okay, well, I chose to rank up these champions, but my point is, if you don't rank up for specifically BGs at all times, you cannot have everyone you need to place extremely high. It's why a lot of people who place in BGs extremely high, like Trappy, Barrowman, just to name a few off the top of my head, they don't play high tier Alliance War, because all of their rank ups are devoted to BGs specifically. All of their content is devoted to BGs specifically. Which, I mean, smart on them. Like, if they want to play one game mode specifically, if they want to be the top at one game mode specifically, they need to put aside other game modes, like Alliance War. So it's actually very smart on their part. And it's just something that I'm not going to say I'm not necessarily willing to do, but I can't place high in BGs if there are other game modes that I care about putting my resources into. Specifically Alliance War, but also specifically just having fun with the game. An example I'm going to put out is Purgatory. Purgatory is good for Battlegrounds, but she is not one of the top 40 champions you should rank for Battlegrounds. She just isn't. She is a champion who I have a lot of fun with in questing and almost every game mode. I think she is good for BGs, but I don't think she's a top 40 BGs champion. So because of me ranking her, I am losing output in BGs. And you can put that in the perspective of like, okay, well, BGs, if champions like Hulkling or Onslaught or Bullseye or Titania or Silk or Chavez were nerfed, and we could have more even champion balance, then I could rank Purgatory and I could have success with her. Because of nukes like Hulkling and Juggernaut and Titania, Silk, like I said, existing, it just makes every single character in the game power crept. Power creep sucks. Like, it's just a really frustrating experience in every game where it exists, and it just makes champions not irrelevant, but severely lacking in what they can do and what they should be doing. I hate power creep, and I hate unbalanced champions like Hulkling or Juggernaut. You don't see those champions ranked on my roster because I don't like their existence and I don't like playing them. There are going to be occasional nukes that I will have ranked. Like, I'm not fully anti-nuke. I'm not going to, like, not rank nukes. Like, CGR I have max ranked. Silk I have max ranked. Archangel I don't. Archangel I would consider a nuke. Like, I'm trying to think of other nukes off the top of my head. Hulkling I don't. Gallon I don't. Juggernaut I don't. Like, there are some nukes that I do have. CGR and Silk are the ones that come to my mind immediately. But I don't know. It just makes me feel bad that these champions are why every other champion in the game gets power crept. The biggest example of this is Onslaught, not because he's absurdly fast in BGs, but because of his pure existence making every other mutant in the game, every single other mutant in the game, less valuable. Kitty Pryde, less valuable. Bishop, less valuable. Archangel, even, less valuable, because of Onslaught's existence. When you keep releasing champions who are way overtuned, like Onslaught, like Hulkling, like Juggernaut, every champion below them is just power crept, and it sucks. It just sucks. Like, I'm basically ranting at this point. But, like, I just want champion nerfs. Like, it's never gonna happen, but I do want champion nerfs. I have advocated for this for a long time. 12.0, I don't know if it was a good thing for its time, but it would be a good thing now. I'm flat out saying it. I think 12.0 should happen again. But it's not. That's just not reality, and it's never gonna happen. They need to make money. I understand that. And making money is why it's not gonna happen. And that's totally justifiable. Like, I'm not saying Kabam should do 12.0. I'm saying I want them to. Because they need to make money, and they're not going to do that if they do a 12.0 patch. That's just not how they make money. So I'm not supporting that. It's just something that, if money wasn't a thing, I would support. But that brings me to the last thing I'm going to talk about, which involves power creep. The argument of too slow. Like, I might be putting comments on the screen if I feel like it. Every single time I see in my comment section saying, hey, this champion is failing because their damage is bad, or this champion is never going to be useful for you because they're too slow. Or not even my comment section, like other creators' comment sections. Like, I feel for them when they get those comments because it's just so demotivating to the creator to read that. And it's like, okay, I put out a cool fight of Purgatory taking Serpent. Oh, she's too slow. Doesn't matter. Like, the video doesn't matter now because she's too slow. Nothing about her completely shutting off the defender matters because she's too slow. That's not true, guys. You don't have to have top-end speed unless you're playing in, like, the top 1,000 BG's players. You can win off of a 60-second fight in Arcane. You can win off of a 70-second fight in Arcane. Like, just because a character doesn't kill something in 40 seconds doesn't mean that what they're doing isn't working. And it's another reason where I'm like, okay, if I want to play in Mysterium, yeah, I am shooting myself in the foot ranking Purgatory over Hulkling. But I'm not a Mysterium player. And I don't think I want to be if it's at the sacrifice of me losing ranking for fun. If I lose ranking for fun, I don't know if I want to play anymore. That's just me. Like, ranking for fun is what I do. you know it's what I do. A lot of the reason you watch my channel is because you know I rank for fun. That might not be the reason for some of you guys, but I know a lot of my following is because I rank for fun and people want to see that. But I can't be a Mysterium player and rank for fun at the same time. It's just not something you can do, because you have to put every resource in Battlegrounds rank ups if you want to play top 1000. It's just the reality of it. Skill takes you far. Strategy takes you far. Money takes you far. But if you don't rank up every single champion you need to have a perfect deck, you just can't. It's not a money problem, it's a balance problem. It's just a problem where you have to invest every resource into this one thing.
So, in conclusion, I've realized that I'm never going to replicate a Mysterium season, the one Mysterium season I did have about 10 seasons ago, if I don't set aside ranking for fun. And, I can probably play very well if I just take a couple months and just, like, rank all the champions I need that are going to be, like, the auto-includes for a BG's deck. But I just don't want to do that. I want to rank for content. I want to rank for what I want to rank. I need to rank for Alliance War. I need to rank for other quests when they come out. I'm just, I guess you could say I'm kind of far behind. And I know I can get to where I need to be, but it's going to take a good bit of time and sacrifice to get there, and it's not something I'm willing to commit to. So, I've just accepted the fact that I'm never placing Mysterium again. Like, it's not like I'm not going to try, it's just I don't think it can happen with the champions I have ranked up and the champions I'm going to continue to rank up. And I've come to peace with the fact that Battlegrounds is just going to be where I can win a lot if I sacrifice ranking who I want to rank. But I also will just be only able to peak where I've been peaking for the past many seasons if I continue to do what I already do. What I already like doing, too. Like, I enjoy the ranking process that I have. It's just not successful in Battlegrounds. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm sure a lot of this video was maybe a little bit of overreactions, maybe a little bit of just feeling sorry for myself. I'm not really sure, but that's going to be the end of the video. I might add a few more things into a pinned comment if I need to clarify anything. I'm also going to run this video over with a couple close friends of mine who I've talked to about this subject to see if it's even worth changing anything before I public it. But either way, thank you guys for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next video.